Rob, Graham, thanks for joining us. Rob, it's obviously an exciting day at Icon Park. Tell us about the decision to appoint Josh Fraser as the permanent senior coach of the Carlton Football Club.
Yeah, no, it's a really exciting day for the football club, and on behalf of everybody, congratulations to Josh on that appointment. You know, notwithstanding his last 14 weeks, which have, there's been a lot of transformation with him as our interim coach. But notwithstanding that, it was important, we think, that Josh, and for the football club, that he went through the detailed coaching selection panel, which he did. He passed that with flying colours, and was the standout candidate for us to appoint as the next senior coach of our footy club.
What stood out to you that made Josh the right person for the job?
Oh, I think he's very authentic. There's a real authentic leadership style there. It was a very detailed process, a whole range of different things that we were looking for. Everything from him as a person, culture and character, right through clearly to football IQ and an innovative approach to the modern game, player development and education, which is really important for us, data, how we use that, adaptability, all of those type of things, many different categories. And he was excellent across all of that. Through that process, just absolutely revealed himself as the candidate for our football club.
Graham, it's been an exhaustive process. What can you share with Carlton fans about the decision to appoint Josh?
But as Rob said, really detailed process. Josh was the standout candidate through the process, and we put him through exactly the same process as everyone else. And you're then combining that with the fact that we've had a good 13, 14 week period, as Rob said, made him the standout candidate. But overall, now exciting, but time to roll the sleeves up and get to work.
From a football standpoint, what impressed you most about Josh's presentation, and what would Carlton fans be most excited about?
Similar to what Rob has just said as well, that across all the key criteria that we're after, or what we felt we needed for the Carlton Football Club, he was pretty clearly the standout for us, and as Rob said as well, the main thing around his football IQ, tactical development, and a real Carlton fit, that he was the coach that we needed and wanted to appoint.
Rob, can you provide us some behind-the-scenes insight into how the process played out, obviously with some very experienced football people leading the way?
Yeah, so I said this when we set out on this journey. We wanted to, I suppose, differentiate this process a little bit. We kept the panel purposely small and comprised of people with deep football experience and contemporary footy insight. So Graham and Chris Davies led that process, and then we brought Adam Simpson in, premiership coach, and just bringing some external perspective, if you like. Putting every candidate through the same process, which, as I said before, it was very detailed. So it's been very thorough, but I think very rewarding, and again, has led us to Josh as the standout candidate.
Fraser has been involved in the game for such a long time. Talk us through his coaching pedigree and credentials. Yeah,
well, I think the appointment, really comes from, what he's done and his experience over the last 14 years. He's done, as I said earlier, a great job for us in the last 14 weeks. But when you think about what he's done since he stopped playing, he's been a highly credentialed development coach. He's been assistant coach across different programs, and he's coached his own teams that we felt were very important, both at the NEFL level and the VFL level. And clearly now he's had 14 weeks as the interim senior coach for us. He's had a long involvement with Carlton. He was at Carlton before he came back at the off-season last year. Wright talked about it, but there's real Carlton alignment there that we really like. It's been a great process.
Graham, Josh said in the early stages of the interim role that you're never sure if you're quite ready to be a senior coach. Why do you think he is?
Well, I think that's a point in time. 13, 14 weeks ago is a long time ago, and I think Josh has been really clear that he does want to be a senior coach, or he did want to be a senior coach at some point in time. We went to him 2 or 3 weeks ago with the option of putting himself into the process, and gave him a little bit of time to think about that. He's come back to us really clear that he wanted to be part of it, and we were happy to include him.
You've been in the position of hiring senior coaches before. Josh is obviously a first-time coach. Was that a focus of yours, or was that simply how the process played out?
No, we weren't incumbent in any way in relation to candidates, whether they be previously had previous experience as senior coach from an AFL perspective, or first timers. So we weren't incumbent in relation to who we went after. But in the end, it landed on the 5 candidates we had, and we had some great candidates, which was great for us, and we're pleased that those guys showed interest in putting their hand up to coach here as well. But yeah, across that whole selection process, it was clear that Josh came out on top.
There's an argument that this decision might have been made on the back of recent results in our recent win-loss record. What would you say to that?
Well, even if you take the last 13 or 14 weeks out of the equation, Josh was still ahead on the process, so we were really comfortable with that.
Rob, how much have you enjoyed seeing Carlton fans back at the footy with smiles on their faces and playing a really exciting brand of footy?
Oh, it's been fantastic. I think hearing the full force of the Carlton crowd in recent games, that Brisbane game in particular, was incredible. And it's just like having a 19th man on the field for us. So that connection right across the club is just critically important. And again, we've still got lots of work to do. And that whole of club approach is really important for us as we continue to do the work and move forward.
You're president of the club, but you're also a fan at your very core. How do you sum up the season so far, particularly with still a bit to play out?
Oh, look, I think that's the right point. There's still a bit to play out. So we're very, this is a critical announcement for us today in terms of the senior coach, but we've got a lot to play out this season. So, we've got the game against Freo on the weekend, and then we're in this wildcard finals round, and we really want to make an impact moving forward. So we're very focused on that at the moment.
Graham, the club has gone significant change over the last 18 months, it's safe to say. What do you see as the next phase for this footy club?
The next few weeks are important, but we don't lose focus on the future and what we need to do. And I think we've been pretty clear and aligned, and Josh was part of that as well, that there's improvements we need to make across the board from a football department perspective, but and playing list perspective. So we won't lose focus on that and make sure, as I said, that we're rolling our sleeves up and getting to work on where we are right now and hopefully how we progress through this year, but then looking at the future into next year as well.
Obviously, the big ticket item was the senior coach, but Graham, what are the next steps from here in terms of other key roles at the footy club, including the head of list management position?
Yeah, we've been very clear, obviously really exciting around Josh coming on board, but we've been very clear that we want excellence across the board in our football department, and that doesn't change with list management as well, but we're really comfortable with CD leading the list management team, and where they are now and leading into the draft, we've got some quality people in there who are doing some great work. So we've got a few guys out of contract, but we've had no shortage of interest in players wanting to be part of the Carlton Football Club. So hopefully there'll be some good announcements over the next couple of months, one from a playing personnel, but also two from a staffing perspective in our list management area.
And Rob, just to close, what's your message for Carlton supporters in what's been an exciting day for the club, but also a member thank you round coming this week and the first AFLW home game to come on Sunday?
Yeah, I think just the way we've stuck together as a club through the year. We didn't start the year as we wanted. We've all acknowledged that. But again, crowd attendances and our supporters have just turned up to the footy to support our football club and our playing group. It's just tremendously powerful. So a huge thank you to all of our members and everything they do for us.